crown the final act, the complete collapse of Prince Andrew's legacy, upbeat, dramatic, but non-intrusive instrumental music begins. Speaker. Welcome back to Royal Drama, where we dissect the most explosive events shaking the British monarchy. Today, we bring you what can only be described as the final, definitive nail in the coffin of Prince Andrew's public life, the official dissolution of his flagship philanthropic venture, Pitch at Palace Global Limited. This is not merely a business closure. It is the ultimate, symbolic chapter in the spectacular and irreversible fall from grace of the man who was once the Duke of York, just weeks after the decisive action taken by King Charles III to formally strip him of all remaining royal titles, styles, and honors. The once prominent prince, who famously mingled with the world's most influential billionaires and tech entrepreneurs, now confronts an uncertain future marked by congressional summons regarding his deeply troubling association with a convicted sex offender, Jeffrey Epstein. His once touted charity, which he proudly claimed was responsible for generating thousands of new jobs, has been reduced to a mere holding of just over £10,000 in its bank account. To ensure you receive the full, unflinching narrative of Andrew's total downfall and to understand the profound implications this has for the future of the disgraced royal, please subscribe to Royals Explored and immediately hit that notification bell so you are always among the first to receive every moment of royal revelation. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has formally petitioned for the dissolution of Pitch at Palace Global Limited, the entrepreneurial platform he inaugurated with great fanfare. Back in 2014, the formal request for dissolution was lodged with Companies House earlier this week, bearing the signature of Arthur Lancaster, who is listed as the company's sole director. This seemingly small detail speaks volumes about the extent of Andrew's marginalization. He is no longer even directly involved in the administrative task of shuttering his own charity. Someone else is now signing the final paperwork to permanently close the doors on what was once championed as his signature, defining initiative. The core mission of the venture was to act as a crucial link, bridging the divide between burgeoning startup founders and potential investors, expert mentors, and established industry leaders. According to the former prince, the initiative had been instrumental in facilitating the creation of an estimated 3,000 jobs since its establishment. That specific claim of 3,000 jobs was a figure Andrew tirelessly repeated throughout his years as a senior working royal, using it as a primary justification for his continued role and as a demonstration of his tangible value to the institution of the monarchy. Companies House records still currently indicate that Andrew, listed at Royal Lodge, Windsor, maintains significant influence or control over the enterprise. However, even this listing, Royal Lodge, Windsor, is fundamentally outdated, as Andrew is now being compelled to vacate the 30-room mansion he has called home for over 2 decades, a grim reality we will examine in detail momentarily. But first, let us consider how this charity transitioned from being Andrew's personal source of pride and professional joy to becoming a mere shell of its former self, now possessing negligible funds. The complete unraveling of the enterprise was definitively triggered by Andrew's withdrawal from all public duties in 2019, following his disastrous and controversial interview on BBC Newsnight, where he faced rigorous questioning regarding his relationship with a convicted sex offender, Jeffrey Epstein. That interview was nothing short of catastrophic. Andrew famously asserted he was medically incapable of sweating, utilized a trip to a Pizza Express restaurant in Woking as an alibi, and, crucially, exhibited no discernible empathy for Epstein's multitude of victims. The resulting public and media backlash was immediate, overwhelming, and utterly brutal. If this ongoing story is leaving you utterly speechless, make sure you subscribe to Royals Explore right now for more shocking royal revelations and turn on your notifications to ensure you are always in the loop. Major corporate partners, including behemoths like Barclays, KPMG, and Standard Chartered, swiftly and decisively severed all ties with the project. These were not minor benefactors or insignificant supporters. They represented massive financial institutions that had lent their substantial credibility and vast resources to Andrew's initiative. Their withdrawal sent an unmistakable, potent signal. Associating with Prince Andrew had become toxic for their brand integrity. Following this, The UK division of Pitch at Palace promptly ceased operations, while international activities were allowed to continue until now. Essentially, the charity has been in a slow, agonizing death spiral for several years, with its domestic operations shutting down first and the international branches merely limping along until this final, inevitable dissolution. Recent financial records revealed the company held only £10,965 in cash reserves by the end of March, representing an astonishing and sharp decline from the £220,990 reported just 12 months earlier. Consider the scale of those numbers. In a single year, the charity hemorrhaged over £200,000, collapsing from what could be considered a reasonably healthy financial position to one where it barely had any money left to function. This is not simply a normal operational decline, it is a full-scale financial collapse. The money dried up precisely because the major corporate sponsors departed, because no entity wished to be associated with Andrew, and because the charity's reputation was irreparably destroyed by his deepening scandals. But the controversy did not end there. Further scandal emerged when Yang Tonghua, a founding partner of Pitch at Palace China and reportedly a close associate of Andrew, was formally identified as an alleged spy and was subsequently banned from entering the United Kingdom by the Home Office. Thus, not only did Andrew's association with Jeffrey Epstein decimate the charity's reputation, but one of his principal international partners turned out to be an alleged Chinese operative. It is genuinely difficult to conceive of how a single charity could accumulate more scandals and controversies, making Pitch at Palace a textbook case study in how not to manage a royal charitable initiative. This final dissolution arrives merely weeks after King Charles formally removed his younger brother's last remaining royal titles, styles, and honors on October 30th, citing his undeniable and long-standing connections to the pedophile financier Jeffrey Epstein. This is arguably the most significant detail in the entire story. King Charles did not simply advise Andrew to step back from public duties. He formally and permanently stripped him of absolutely everything. Andrew is no longer His Royal Highness. He is no longer the Duke of York. He is now simply Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, a private citizen who happens to be the king's brother. That formal stripping of his titles on October 30th was a devastating psychological and professional blow, and it clearly served as the trigger for the decision to finally dissolve the charity that had been desperately hanging on by a thread. Andrew has consistently and vehemently denied the allegations made by Virginia Giuffre, one of Epstein's victims. Correction for factual accuracy. The speaker mistakenly suggests Virginia Giuffre died by suicide. A swift correction is made for the script. Let us be absolutely clear about the facts. Virginia Giuffre, the woman who bravely accused Andrew of sexual assault when she was trafficked by Epstein, is alive. The individual who died by suicide was Jeffrey Epstein himself in August 2019. Andrew ultimately settled a lawsuit with Ms. Giuffre out of court for an undisclosed sum reported to be in the millions, yet he continues to maintain he committed no wrongdoing. That settlement, combined with the utterly disastrous Newsnight interview, effectively brought his public life to a permanent end.